Good evening.
Good evening.
The dog's going to bark. She's a pain in the arse.
Just like you.
Yes, thank you. So, an interesting wrinkle to this viewing of Doctor Who, what we're doing now, that I hadn't realised before, is this. We are dealing with some very complicated relationships in this season of Doctor Who.
Dark, Daddy.
Well, terribly dark. And the thing is that if you think about the progression of Doctor Who from 2005, one of the absolute most significant differences between 2005 Doctor Who to the previous iteration of Doctor Who is that Russell T Davies brought in the idea that we could have actual proper human relationship and Time Lord relationships in Doctor Who. And that was actually a big thing, you know what I mean? We'd nudged upon such things, you know what I mean? Now, what Moffat is doing is thinking, well, we've already established that we can do the sorts of relationships that the viewing public have. Why don't we try and muddy the waters a little bit and see what we can make happen? So we've gone from the obvious, ridiculously multi-layered complexity of River Song. We've had the previous story, which it would appear that my gushing review of is quite out of step with the rest of fandom, which is quite thrilling. And now we get a story which we're faced with the age-old question, which we've all pondered. If your wife was suddenly aged by 36 years, would you still be able to pick up that relationship?
Be very careful where you go with this, is my advice.
The Girl Awaited is another wonderful episode of Doctor Who. And another, it's not written by Moffat, it's written by Tom Cray, I think. But it's very Moffatian, isn't it? Without multiple timelines, really telling the sorts of stories that you can't tell with any other TV programme, really. And in the midst of that, we have got what surely by now has to go down as one of the greatest TARDIS teams of all time. I mean, the simple mechanics is you can't tell this story with any other TARDIS team because we've never had a married couple on the TARDIS before. We've never had a couple on the TARDIS before, let's be honest. But the quality of the performances in this is phenomenal. We'll start with Rory because, like Arthur Darvill, what can't you do? I mean, this is absolutely class, and Rory has got that usual mix of absurd, bewilderment, and also just completely heartfelt response to the situations he finds himself in. And it's so refreshing. It's so grown up in comparison to many other iterations of Doctor Who we've had in the past, that you've got a companion that responds to situations with, in the way that I think that many of us would, with a bit of dark humour and then just complete exasperation. Absolutely magnificent. Love it. And of course, the heartfelt moments where he gets absolutely furious with the Doctor and whatever else like that. Then we need to talk about Karen Gillan. And we need to talk about Karen Gillan because, honestly, look, when we watched this, I was thinking about a programme that myself and Elizabeth watched some time ago called Douglas is Cancelled. Now, Douglas is Cancelled is phenomenal. And if you've not seen it, I highly recommend you go and watch it. What a brilliant programme that was. In that, Karen Gillan, I thought, played an absolutely fantastic part and showed a real, natural, understandable progression of a character, which I'll say no more about because I don't do spoilers here. But surely nothing can prepare an actress to having to play two versions of herself and have to, in a very short space of time, convey to the audience that big traumatic things have happened. And I have to say, I think she absolutely nails it. The way she walks is different. The way she holds herself is different. She deepens the register of her voice, which sounds an obvious thing to do, but I think she plays that. She uses that to really show off her skills, quite frankly. I really think that, especially in those moments, which must have been really hard to film, where you've got old Amy and young Amy playing off each other, it's just blissful. And again, we've had companions getting younger and companions getting older. It goes without saying, it's never been done as well as this, and it's never been done and used in such a way to actually tell such an engrossing and really, really brilliant story. We'll now cut to my correspondent, my Amy Pond correspondent, to find out her take.
I thought Amy Pond was really good in it.
Well, there we go. Let's turn up for the books. Ding, ding, ding. Amy Pond gets the Libby vote today.
She was really good. And it's always a joy to have a story that's mainly about Amy Pond. But I thought the fact that they were both so cross with the Doctor, like at the beginning, Amy's character was saying, "You left me,
Yep.
I hate you, blah,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah." And you think, no, come on, something must have happened.
Yeah.
But then actually, towards the end, when the Doctor tricks them and says that you can't take both, you think, oh, you absolute bastard. And then when Rory says, no, you can't turn me into you, because you can't. Rory hasn't had the experiences that the Doctor has had. He hasn't got a dark side, unlike the Doctor.
So now we come to Matt Smith, as Liv has taken us there. And, my gosh, what
Matt Smith's the boy.
what else can this, where can this Doctor go? Because is this one of those very, very rare times where we genuinely don't like the Doctor? I think it is. That moment where he looks at her, looks her in the eye and just closes the door. What an absolute cockwomble. And the thing is that Amy and Rory, well, Rory in particular, forgives him very quickly. And there is an argument to say that the programme is trying to justify that forgiveness with the conversation that Rory has with old Amy through the door. But I prefer to sort of headcanon it. I genuinely feel there's almost a little bit of psychic manipulation going on, something like that. Because it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible what he does. It's utterly.
Does he have any other options, though?
We know the TARDIS can sustain a paradox. It's not good for it, but it can be done. It would be hard work. Is he willing to put the work in for it? Anyway, there we go. Tennant-ish, end of Tennant-ish moments here. Waters of Mars-ish in a weird way. And it all adds to this really odd, strange season where we are dealing with some big things. No, Dusty, I'm not playing with you until I finish talking to my friends on the Twinternet.
Who do you think is worth more, Jason Statham or Tom Hardy?
No, we're not doing that. Right, so Girl Awaited, absolutely fantastic episode of Doctor Who. A tour de force, a showcase for this magnificent TARDIS team, a showcase for Karen Gillan and for Arthur Darvill. And while there's clearly a bit of Doctor lightness to this episode, very well disguised, it has to be said. But there's no doubt that there was an element to the writing of this that involved getting Matt Smith away from the action, presumably so he could go and film the penultimate episode. I imagine that's what the theory was here. It just shows off this trio as being utterly top rank companion Doctor team, whilst adding more wrinkles to the Doctor's character. What more can you say? We are on a quite, well, you have your opinion of Night Terrors. I will, if you've not read the Sandifer review I posted in the comments of the last video, I urge you to do so, because when I read it, I went, oh yeah, maybe that's why I didn't like it the first time around. Maybe that's why I didn't go back and watch it. You should read that as a great piece of writing. But anyway, aside from the potential controversy there, what a fine run of form we're on.